Welcome, welcome. We're just getting started in a second. If you could grab a seat. So hello again, and welcome to our second venue of Framingham State. And I want to give a big shout out again to Framingham State for being a great host to us. And they've got a great facility here. And so this just goes to show how life sciences and higher ed is doing great things outside of our fantastic city of Boston. So again, I'm John Brothers, and we're going to move into the next part of our presentation of the Workforce Outlook Report. But first, I want to give an amazing shout out and thank you to the amazing presentation by Secretary Acosta, Professor Modestino, and Emily Greenhagen just earlier. It was great to hear yes. It was fantastic to hear both their insights, how their insights come together when they come from different areas and from different sectors, and yet all clearly united in the direction that we're going. And I'm also excited because I really believe that's the case with everybody in this room today. So great turnout. Hoping as more people come in, please move. We're going to ask that no one other than staff stand, please. Please, everyone, find a seat. We have seats up here. No stress. In fact, please come up here and sit with Sarah McDonald because she could use some company. So, okay. So, and we'll fill in more seats as we go along. So, who are the life science employees of the future? We've already touched on this, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more now. Getting my new computer set. There we go. I wanted to get my laser pointer. So we've talked about this earlier. Massachusetts higher education has excelled at producing talent for the life science industry for many years. Again, it's one of the bedrock foundational reasons our industry has done so well. And this graph points it out in that it shows the share of graduates in life sciences from 2010 through 2020 and compares that share in the dark blue for Massachusetts to the light blue for the rest of the country. It's a similar story and an important one, and something that we should all be really proud of, and something we want to build on even further. We also have a very strong mix of types of degrees showing bachelor's level degree, master's level degree, graduate degrees, and PhDs. And that has always been a great strength of ours. And as we know, for the industry, that's critical. We need those highly educated students and graduates in order to drive our industry. There are some concerns, though. The life science talent generation of degree graduates is leveling off, as you can see from this slide. And I'd say one major warning sign is that doctorate degrees conferred in life science fields in 2020 have decreased by 5% since 2018. And that's not the direction we're looking for, clearly. And we all know how difficult it is to ramp up that program and how much incredible work it is to produce, to succeed in acquiring that PhD. So that's absolutely an area that we need to be focused on. Perhaps even more concerning, echoing a national trend, enrollment in Massachusetts higher education and the rest of the country has dropped by 5% in 2022 from 2021. And I think it's okay to say that that's a crisis. And it's one that there are good reasons for. There are fewer students of age to go to college, and more students question the value of going to college and a college degree. And so it has never been more important, as we talked about earlier today, to emphasize the career pathway that students can take, whether they're going to a 4-year school, a 2-year school, or certainly a credentialing program. And also a shout out to incredibly hardworking members of our 2-year schools, our community colleges, because they provide those wraparound services and that not easy path to the career that so many people need support with. And they have experienced a drop in 15% of enrollment. And it goes hand in hand with everything that we heard this morning. Further, and the next slide is not about a COVID issue. This is about a persistent long-term issue. In Massachusetts in 2020, 6% of life science graduates were Black and 9% of graduates were Hispanic. This share is well below the state's share of that total population of 9 and 12% respectively. This is not a new problem, but it is a foundational one, and it's one that will require the persistent work of connecting with underserved communities, supporting those from underserved communities to access the education, training, and the jobs that we need them to access, and they should be able to access. Referring back to the same figure, unlike the other slides we've seen today, the dark blue represents Massachusetts, the light blue represents the rest of the country. Where Massachusetts leads the way in so many other areas, this is one area where we are behind, and that is the share of Hispanic Americans completing life science degrees. And again, 2015, 2018, 2020. We have a similar challenge when it comes to Black and African Americans. And that, having said that, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to emphasize it one more time. We have a fantastic higher education system that is committed, particularly our public education system. Public universities are committed to serving diverse populations. It has to happen more, and it often needs more resources than they have available at the time. And that is part of, I would say, the solution that we need to be looking for is how to increase the resources and the pathways to support diverse populations. We also tend to be much more oriented towards specialized fields in life sciences, and that is a strength. We have so many programs represented here today in higher ed that are training students in specific pathways, whether it's Northeastern University, MassBioEd Community College, Quincy College, and I can't list you all, so please forgive me if I don't list you, but there's so many that are doing great specific training programs for life sciences. But I also want to point out, when we identify who are the students that don't know about careers in life sciences, and this is much too small of a graph, but there's one piece that I want to highlight here, and that is the degree fields of life science degree fields in Massachusetts. Number one at the top is general biology. So not a specific field. And there are so many general biology students who hopefully have dreams and aspirations being a doctor, or may not be sure what they want to do. And there are so many fields that a biology student can go into. That's fantastic. But as Secretary Costa said this morning, we need to compete for them. And these are students who have the interest in STEM, who are interested in the field, who are enrolled in college. They need to know about the amazing opportunities that we have in life sciences. They won't solve it by themselves, but there are a lot of them. Additionally, I hope this is coming across not too loudly. If it is, let me know. Additionally, the K12 Pipeline desperately needs support. Again, this is nothing that we don't already know, but what are we going to do about it? The number of AP students taking biology AP exams fell by nearly 11% in 2021. Similarly, the number of AP students taking chemistry AP exams fell by 13% in 2021. In addition, the number of students receiving proficient scores is also decreasing. The disruptive effects of the pandemic is certainly at play here, and the stress that has been put on our education system, just like everyone else, is a major factor, as well as stress on children and their families in general. The effects of this are going to be felt for years to come, because the effects of this are I'm sure, math scores are lower across the board at different grades. MCAS scores, if they even administer the MCAS test for good reason, are also an issue. So I'm going to move quickly through some target solutions. We need to build more collaborative partnerships. We need to, and you're going to hear a lot about this next, create a statewide career awareness campaign. We need to promote DE&I in the entire pipeline with intentionality. I've already said it, but I'll say it again. We need to renew the Massachusetts Life Science Initiative. And we need to greatly expand apprenticeships programs or similar for technicians in production. Higher ed and the industry must partner to guide high school students and engage first and second year undergrads, as well as PhD students, in what are the pathways and how can they gain the experiential learning to pursue those pathways. We also must target, as we talked about earlier, those students in secondary careers, IT, engineering, data sciences. In working with diverse communities, and we'll talk a lot more about this next, we need to make sure that we build our credibility of our career pathways and expand the training programs for working adults, as well as paid experiential learning. I want to just give a quick list of some of the programs that are already doing this work. And it's a good start. Just to start, Middlesex Community College, Quincy College and JBS, Gloucester Marine Genomics Institute, GMGI, Lab Central Ignite, Benjamin Franklin Institute of Technology, aka BFIT, coming online soon, and MassBioEd. And now for just a few minutes, I'm going to turn the podium over to my colleague, Karla Talanian, to talk a little bit about our apprenticeship program and particularly how this is an example of that short-term training program that can be really effective. Karla?
Thanks, Tom. So as we've all heard today, there's really three problems that everyone's trying to solve. First and foremost, we need to get more talent into the industry overall. We need to get more talent into the industry overall. Second, we need to diversify the workforce. And third, as Secretary Acosta said, there are so many people in the Commonwealth who are still on the sidelines. They are so eager and so willing and so able to take on these jobs if they have a pathway to entry. So the MassBioEd apprenticeship program is really designed to answer all three of these problems. I have to just back up and say I'm thrilled. It was 3 years ago today at the last in-person Life Sciences Conference. We had a panel moderated by Secretary Acosta that was focused on brainstorming what we can do to build the mid-skilled workforce pipeline. And here we are talking about the actual achievements of this apprenticeship program as a fact. Last year was our inaugural year. We launched 2 cohorts, one for biomanufacturing technicians, one for clinical trial associates. In all, we have 30 apprentices. Even though these are 2 very, very different career pathways, the model of the apprenticeship is essentially the same. It really begins with industry involvement. We work really closely with our industry partners, and many of you are here today, and thank you so much for your support. They inform the curriculum. They tell us what they want the apprentices to learn. MassBioEd does the recruitment. We cast a very, very wide net looking out into our local communities. Is probably starting off with about 200-300 people who are interested in the program and narrowing it down to the few that are actually accepted. We do assessment and vetting and interviewing of candidates. finally, we present our what we call our semifinalists to our employers, and the employers actually make the final decision on who gets accepted into the program. They give them a job offer. So before they even say, yes, I want to become an apprentice, they know where they're going to work, they know what they're going to be paid, they have their future lined up, and the employers also know who they're going to get, what these new employers are going to warrant, and when they're going to come online. The employers also put the money where their good intentions are. They not only provide essentially a scholarship for their apprentices, they pay all the direct costs for their education, and they give them $1,000 a month stipend for the few months that they're studying, just to defray the need for them to work too many hours. We really want them to be able to focus on their studies. The curriculum they're taught is, as I said, very much informed by the industry, and we stay in constant touch with our industry partners. Last year, we worked with Northeastern University, who are fantastic educational partners. The Association for Clinical Research Professionals provided the education for our clinical trial associates, and this year we're expanding to Worcester Polytechnic Institute for a regional cohort. When the apprentices finish their training, they start on a full year of on-the-job training with their employer. They come on as a real employee, not as a contractor. They get full corporate benefits. That is so essential. They get health insurance. They get some paid time off. They get paid holidays. They're allowed to live as a professional person. And our hope and our expectation is that for each person, they will continue in the long term with their employer. They also get mentoring. They get mentoring inside their company, and MassBioEd provides volunteer mentors to meet with them monthly to just provide a sounding board and give them some perspective. So here's the results. Last year's, again, combining the two cohorts, 60% of our apprentices were people of color. Their age ranged between 19 and 63, with an average of 33, which is really important. This is not an internship program focused on youth or young professionals. We're really targeting work-ready adults who are very eager to make a change and make a long-term commitment to a new career. At the time of entry into the program, about half were unemployed. At the middle of now, both of these cohorts are roughly at the midpoint. 83% of our original apprentices are still successfully on the job. We've only lost 5 out of the 30, mostly for personal medical reasons. This year, we're expanding it. We're looking to triple the number of apprentices from 30 to 90 over the course of the year. We have already successfully launched our first 2 cohorts, both for biomanufacturing. The first one was located in the greater Boston region. The second one, which just launched the day before yesterday, is located in central Massachusetts. 70% of these 2 cohorts combined were people of color. Again, the average age was 32, and about half of them were unemployed when they came into the program. We do have plans for another biomanufacturing cohort this year, another CTA cohort, and we're looking to expand to a 3rd career pathway.
Thank you very much, Karla. Thank you.